Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM, we welcome you all back to our program. Also, those tuning in through our online affiliates around the world, including our radio family. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. We're really excited to welcome actress Jasmin Savoy Brown to our program today. Jasmin is someone you probably know from some of your favorite television shows, but now she's one of the leads on one of the top shows on ABC on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 p.m. for us here in Mississippi. That show is called For the People. We're going to talk to Jasmin not only about what it's been like for her to bring to life the character of Allison, but also what it's been like for her to do what she loves as an actress, to be able to see the response, and of course to be able to share that with all of you. Just from hearing about Jasmin, we'll tell you at the end of our segment how you can be able to stay connected with her. But Jasmin, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, Jasmin, glad to do it. Really excited about this. I'm one of those people who love to live tweet with you guys on Tuesdays night now. And of course, as the show has been taking off, we're going to remind our audience how they can be able to watch For the People themselves. But, Jasmin, what has this experience been like for you? As I said, to be able to do what you love, of course, before For the People, but now to be able to be one of the leads on this show and really to be able to see the way that people are responding to it.
You know, I'm constantly having these moments of, wow, this is my life, and wow, my dreams have come true. I mean, even just right now, us talking on the phone, doing this show with you, I just have these moments where I'm like, okay, my hard work is paying off, and I'm so blessed to do what I love. So overall, I'm just happy in life and grateful that I get to do what I love every day, and I get to live in sunny LA and drink delicious coffee and go to set. Specific to For the People, I have absolutely no complaints. This cast is phenomenal. We all actually get along really well. We're actually friends. I just spent the weekend with two of my castmates. The scripts are excellent and challenging and so much fun, and I'm really proud to be part of this show because obviously it's Shondaland, and that's an honor and an incredible thing to be associated with, but also just because it's a show that I'm really proud of and a character that I'm really proud of, and I am incredibly blessed.
Yeah. Well, you know what, and I think being blessed and being able to recognize that, Jasmin, I think definitely has to play a part into where you are today. I mentioned to you because I don't like to catch people off guard. One of the things I was one of those crazy people, it's not enough for me just to be able to live tweet with a show and to be able to follow it, of course, because I do this program as well. I'm like, okay, I want to talk to that person. So one of the things that made me want to talk to you is an article that I had read in GQ last year about you. At the time, you were, of course, known for the show The Leftovers, and the headline of that article I thought was so appropriate this year as you're kind of reflecting on this journey. The headline by Tom Phillip for GQ was, "You Will Know Jasmin Savoy Brown." That seemed to be foreshadowing kind of where you are today. Do you kind of reflect on things like a headline like that and say, wow, that is exactly what's happening today?
Yeah, I do have moments like that. It's funny because in the moment, like in doing that interview, or even right now where I am, it's just this hustle. It's often this hustle of like talking to people and doing auditions and flying here and flying there, and it's hard to appreciate it in the moment. So it is always later, as you said, to see something and look back and go, oh wow, they really got that right, or that was really foreshadowing what was to come. And it's kind of a bit of an out-of-body experience sometimes when I read those things, or if I hear someone talk about me, I go, are they talking about me? Mm-hmm. Because, of course, when I'm just at home or with my friends or family, I'm more laid back and goofy and just different than when I'm doing an interview or something. So it's weird, but it's cool.
Right. And this is something, again, like what you said earlier, Jasmin, it has been leading up to this moment. It was almost inevitable because of the hard work that you put in. What was about acting that spoke to you that made you say, that's it, that's going to be the thing for me?
I think on some level it's just in my blood. My dad is a musician, and my mom has always loved music, and she actually played the drums when she was younger, and my grandfather on both my mom and dad's side they danced, and they were tap dancers, funnily enough. So I think part of it is just in my blood. And then also, I don't know, I joke that being an actor is like a bit of a curse, because if that's what you want to do, you just can't shake it. And I had a couple moments as a kid. I think part of it was just feeling connected to someone on a stage that I felt like understood me when I didn't always feel understood in my day-to-day life, just because of where I grew up and being a person of color in Oregon with a single mom. I just didn't feel totally understood, or like I had people that knew my experience as their own. So when I saw in a play someone that looked like me, or on TV, that didn't happen nearly as often, someone going through what I was going through or loving what I loved, it really made me feel validated and heard, and I wanted to do that for other people. And also I'm just addicted to stories and telling stories and creating characters, and I always had a rich imagination. So it was just on almost every area of my life, I knew I was an actor.
Yeah. We're going to get to For the People, Jasmin, but you just mentioned something about your family that I want to kind of tie into another interview, and I'm not stalking you or anything. But one of the things one of the things I did in prepping for this segment, I watched a great interview that you did with AfterBuzz, and you were talking about your own love of music. And so I want to kind of talk broadly about the creative community, because I think unless someone's in it, they don't really understand it, right? So, I mean, do you think because you came from a family that was so heavily creative, that kind of helped to kind of open the door for you to try things like acting or music or whatever it might be, because you had people around you that kind of knew what that was like?
Yeah, I definitely think that helped, and I also think it helped that my mom and the rest of my family were very supportive. My mom always said, okay, I will drive you to that music lesson, or I will attend all of your plays, and all of my aunts and uncles came to all of my musicals. But I also think I'm a very stubborn person, and regardless of whether or not they were supportive or helpful, I would have still ended up where I am, just because it's just in my nature. And even, like, my mom was very supportive emotionally and came to everything she could, but I often, like, every camp that I went to from a certain age forward, most of the lessons that I took, I paid for myself. Like, I got a job in high school and paid for my lessons, or I would do babysitting and weeding people's yards to pay for summer camps. So I think that I was both fortunate to have support, and I would have still ended up here without it, just because it's just a part of my personality. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that says a whole lot, and I think that's a great tie-in as we talk about Allison on For the People. Jasmin, I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome actress Jasmin Savoy Brown to our program. You know her, of course, as Allison from the new hit on ABC, that being For the People on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central for us here in Mississippi, for those joining us on the radio side. But she's also done some great projects leading up to this. Now, of course, social media is a big part of how this show has been promoted. I remember when I was first, found out about it myself was through Instagram, Jasmin. I saw Shonda talking about it, and of course talking about, hey, make sure you guys join us. And so, of course, that then it led me to Twitter, and then to be able to follow you guys. I mean, what has the machine of this been like for you? Because it's one thing for you to be a part of this cast that you mentioned, but what has it been like for you to see the activity online about this show?
I love it. I have a very love-hate relationship with social media, especially related to the industry. I hate that people are always looking at your numbers, and it's like, does this person have enough followers to do this thing? All of that drives me insane. But I love the reach of social media, and I love that I can interact with fans, and I can in live time see how people feel about the show and about Allison, and I love that it's a way for me to stay connected to friends out of state. So to answer your question, though, it's been really exciting to see the response, and I love the live tweeting. It's so much fun, and it's funny. And usually a lot of the cast and producers are all together, so we're laughing and showing each other funny tweets from other people. So that's been really fun.
Right. Now, you have an interesting, layer to your story. Well, Allison does, because not only is Allison a public defender and that having to deal with that, but then, in a relationship with a prosecutor, that being said, I have to say episode 2, and depending on how our audience is listening to this, our radio audience, we'll actually be watching the new episode tonight. For those who are joining us through iHeartRadio, of course, it'll be tomorrow for them. But, that episode 2 was so powerful when, he asked about leaving anything in the apartment, and Allison says, me. What has that layer of this been like for you, to not only to bring to life what it's like for this, this individual to be for one thing, to be a public defender and to be a woman in this field, and then to deal with the relationship and the trouble that she's having there?
Yeah, it's been interesting. For one, it's very kind of freeing to get to play this character who is not defined by her relationship. When we meet Allison, obviously she is in a relationship and she's with Seth, but then I actually, as an actor, kind of appreciated that they broke up right away, because to me that showed that Allison isn't defined by that, and that's something I really appreciate about Shondaland shows and a lot of this content that's coming out today, is these women who are either single or independent or whatever they are, they're not defined by the relationship they're in. So that aspect for me was really exciting to see and get to play. But then just in terms of Allison and knowing that she loves Seth, it's heartbreaking and it's sad. I don't like it anytime two people who are good together break up, in real life or on the screen. So there's a lot of layers to it, but overall I think it's good that that's how Allison and Seth's relationship started off for the audience, regardless of where it ends up. That shows that they are two independent people, and specifically for Allison, that she is committed to a lot of things apart from her boyfriend.
Right. You mentioned the friendship outside of the show, Jasmin, but you also, of course, through the character Allison, are able to show that you can have friends, as you are, going about your career. How important has that been for you to showcase that element? Because we are able to see, even with what Allison is dealing with, she does have someone she can kind of have as that person to kind of lean on, to kind of talk to and kind of be real with.
That's so important to me. That was one of the biggest things that drew me to the show, was the friendship between Allison and Sandra. I feel like it really mirrors my relationship with my closest female friends. I feel like often on TV, when we see female friendship, there's always something fake about it. Like either they're stabbing each other in the back, or they're sleeping with each other's boyfriends, or all of these things for the sake of drama that just, at least in my experience, are not real. I would never sleep with my best friend's boyfriend or lie to her or stab her in the back. The relationships are complicated, and of course there's going to be tense moments or times you have to confront your friend and tell her something she did that hurt you. But overall, there's just this massive support and this notion of I have your back, and that speaks to me on a personal level about my relationship with my friends, and I love that is on this prime time television slot, I think that's just so important for people to see, especially right now with all of our stuff that's happening in our political climate and everything with women's health care and just all the constant attack on women. We have to remember that women have each other's backs. Yeah.
This show is heavy. There was, another great scene in that second episode, where he was talking about, what we're seeing is not the America for me. It's not my America. So Shonda, we know, is not afraid to go there. Is that also one of the great things about being a part of Shondaland for you, Jasmin, is being a part of someone who is willing to push the envelope and to address things that we don't already 2 episodes in, you guys are really, addressing things that are not always easy to do. Is that part of what has been great for you, being a part of this family?
Yes, it is, because I consider myself an activist, even though I'm still figuring out what exactly that looks like for me on a bigger capacity, but that is one way that I identify myself. And I feel like these episodes and this show are very, they encompass that. They are tackling issues that are very polarizing, but they're showing both sides, which is so cool and informative. It's informed me a lot as an American citizen, just about what happens behind the scenes and what it really goes on in the courtroom. That's given me more respect for our judicial system. And it's a little scary. Before that episode came out, we were talking about just what the response would be and what people would say, because they did not shy away. That Nazi guy was freaky looking and said some bad stuff, and it's kind of intimidating just to see what are people going to say. Are they going to be happy, or are they going to attack us? So it's an interesting experience, but positive more than negative.
As we wrap up here, Jasmin, and I really do appreciate this time, I want to go back to something you mentioned about social media and numbers. And I want to mention it in a more broader way for our audience out there, because I think what you said, when you said it, I knew it was something I wanted to ask you about, and especially speak to our audience about this, because so many times people define themselves by a like or a follower. How did you get to a place that you were so comfortable in yourself that was not what was going to define you or define your career?
I think part of it has to do with my upbringing. There's just kind of this groundedness of people in Oregon. There's just this expectation to just be who you are. Like, most people don't wear that much makeup and aren't too obsessed with their looks, and you're really just encouraged to play outside and get dirty. So part of it comes from that. But also, I think part of it is just stubbornness and me not wanting to feel forced to do anything. Don't get me wrong. I feel very good when people like my posts, or if they say, "Oh, you look so pretty in that picture," or whatever. It still flatters my ego and makes me feel good. But I feel like in my core, I'm, without sounding too like hippie or whatever, I feel like I'm an artist, and I just want to express myself, and I want to do things that challenge me and that make people talk. And to me, my Instagram or Twitter or whatever is not a reflection of my art. They're just two very different things. And so I think that's what bothers me, is they get grouped together. It's like, you can't do this piece of art, you can't book this movie unless you have enough followers, and that just doesn't, those things shouldn't go together to me. But I understand it's an industry, it's a business, people have to make money, but if they could remain separate more, I wouldn't hate it as much.
I got you. No, I totally get it, and I appreciate that, and I hope our audience gets that as well, that, that it's not about that. It really is about feeling good about yourself and being able to live with you, and I think that's the other big thing that, Jasmin, it seems like you've been able to work out for yourself, being able to be happy with you and not being defined by that from other people, and I think that is a great thing, and I think that will continue to propel you forward for sure. Again, everyone, you all have been listening to Conversations Live. Great conversation with you, Jasmin. Jasmin Savoy Brown has been our guest. Make sure you all watch her on Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central here in Mississippi For the People. And Jasmin, let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
Yeah, well, I live tweet almost every Tuesday, the East Coast feed, and you can tweet with me at Jasmin, Jasmin Savoy, Savoy, and my same handle is on Instagram at Jasmin Savoy. And tweet with me. I love hearing people's thoughts. I love interacting, and that's where you can find me.
All right. Well, we will definitely be doing just that, Jasmin. Continued success to you. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. You're more than welcome. If you all came in late and missed part of the conversation with Jasmin, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media site, so head over to Facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to Twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there, too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music, as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.